when you're a creative person and you have an idea in your head, a book or a song or something you want to create, because you feel it's expressing something so important to you. So maybe something that made you suffer a lot. You feel like if you sing that song, other people will hear it and they won't suffer as much because they'll understand better. Okay. And because you were so into that and you did that with such pure heart, everybody loves the song. You make $1 million. You deserve that money. In a way that no cocaine dealer, no used car salesman, no investor banker could ever deserve the money. And your ancestors made sure that money came to you because you were healing the world. Next time, don't touch that burning to the plastic, polychlorinated biphenyl, deadly carcinogen. The mixture of heat and that plastic creates a liquid, then sticks to that, and the molecules are polychlorinated biphenyl, very deadly carcinogenic. Forgive me, just so you know. But my point is, most of the things we do to get to what we want destroys us, unless we understand who we are and never betray them. And the discovery of who we are is difficult. And all these vanities and peer pressures of the world saying, like, you're supposed to be like this, you're supposed to be like that, distracts you from figuring out who you are. So you're defining who you are by what you want to be instead of who you really are. I don't mean you, I mean people in general.
So other people are trying to figure out who they really are.
Say again?
Other people are trying to figure out who they really are.
I'd say there's some pretty stupidly simple steps. Well, a great prophet, he was the father of Sufism, Ras David. When he reached his enlightenment, one of the very first things he said was, life is so simple, no man will ever get it. You have to simplify the mind to hear the voices that are talking. If you recognize that the reason that you want money so bad is you're afraid not to have what you need. And then you ask yourself, what do you need? And are you more afraid of not having a little extra food, or are you more afraid of not having your soul? Are you afraid of betraying yourself so it's harder to sleep at night because you know you used somebody to get that thing you wanted, to have that extra food? And which is more valuable to you? Which do you have to live with longer? Your action or that quick material thing? You understand what I'm saying? There's most voices that we listen to are neither the soul nor the body. They're anxiety. Right? Very few people ask themselves why they want what they want. And if you answer those questions to yourself, you find you probably don't want that same thing anymore. Because it was a replacement for something that was missing inside of you. A feeling of not being beautiful enough, strong enough, rich enough, big-dicked enough, loved enough, respected enough, feared enough, whatever the enough is. But what happens when you realize that actually exactly how you are is enough? And you can be more, but if you don't know that you're already enough, everything you do diminishes you.
Exactly. Because you're constantly searching.
That's right, instead of building. And how do you build yourself is on things that you are sure that it's not exploitative. You're not doing it to get one over on somebody and prove you smarter. You're not trying to trick your brother because you'd like a little more profit than him because you figure you're a little smarter than him. Because the reality is every single one of us believes profoundly that whatever conclusions we've come to are the right ones. If you're 5 years old, you believe whatever you believe.
That's right.
Absolutely right.
Everybody believes they're right.
That's right, until you have humility. So when you start to know yourself and you realize, but wait, that's my problem, is I'm so sure I'm right, I'm not learning what's right.
Well, some people never see that. So
Most
people never see that.
So let me give you the most important natural law that I've learned in Zion after all these years. Because when I was little, so that we wouldn't be afraid, I guess it's not their fault, they taught us that most people are good. That's so we don't get terrified as little kids. The reality is most people are unconscious. And goodness is about being conscious and courageous. Courage, right? So, if I'm going to give you the most important natural law, it works down like this, very, very simple. Let's say a mango tree makes 250,000 blossoms. to have maybe 15 or 10,000 of them pollinated, to start to make maybe 10, 15,000 fruit, to finally make maybe 1,000 or 1,500 fruit. And out of all of that, there may only be 5 or 10 mango trees that grow from those seeds to become a next mango tree. And all the rest of that was food for some other being. Now a fish lays 1,000 eggs. Maybe 5 or 10 become adult fish that make fish. If you have mankind, you have maybe 1 million man, you may only have 50 that are conscious and loving and compassionate. Because in the nature, you need more compost than anything else. You need more disorder than anything else because that disorder is your potential. Without the raw colors, the painter has nothing to paint. You can't mix anything to make the hues and nuance.
That's true, you know. That's true because without the main constituent, right? Without what you are, like the main constituent, the ingredients, how will you cook? How will you cook? You don't have seasoning. How you know?
So, if you think about chaos as all the letters of the alphabet before a word was made, all of the sounds that represent the alphabet without a word being put together, then you're looking somewhat at the way man is in the world. Man is trying to make code from 1 billion sounds in which he only hears maybe a couple thousand. So he makes his code out of what he realizes and what he perceives, and he defines his world out of that, not realizing that those same words are a box that now limits the way he sees the world within that
And there's
language.
a lot of things to be explored.
Sure. So how does he get to the questions outside of the box? How does he open his mind enough
To unlearn what he has learned.
Thank you. If you agree, and I'm sure you would, that we are taught more lies than truth when we're raised up, because most of the history of the world is what we did with our fear. And most people have not conquered their fears, which is why they don't arrive at being what we would call a good person. It takes a lot of courage to be good. It's very fucking easy to be sinful. It's a lot of fun until the pain comes.
Very easy.
Right?
Very easy to fuck around.
Of course.
But to be a good person, boy, hard.
You know,
Difficult.
when I was in the Civil War in '92 in Kashmir, up until then I didn't understand courage. I used to think courage was not being afraid. Until I saw enough terrified people who still moved forward because they were more afraid, not of them dying, but of everything they loved being destroyed. And pissing themselves. They move forward. That's courage. Now, if a man has no fear, that's not fucking courage. That's an idiot. That's a psychotic. That's a something who doesn't know what's going on. But if you're on the battlefield of life and you're not afraid, you're a fool. But here's the clincher. The real clincher. What makes the difference between a good person and a not good person. It's the person who can distinguish between what is reasonable and rational fear and what is irrational fear. You don't kill snakes because you don't like the way they look and because you believe the Satan story from Adam and Eve, and you're so bred into that every time you see a snake you just want to kill it.
Kill it, yeah. Kill
We're
it.
doing that to each other all day long in society because we believe somebody has to be sacrificed for us to eat.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a white man thinking because they didn't have enough food to survive the winter. And now they've programmed us to accept unconsciously that we have to sacrifice each other out of a rational fear, otherwise we won't have what we need.
But there's a problem there. Why is it that the white people were the ones to pass? Like, why did they have to pass through it and we have to take it gullibly? We took everything in gullibly, you know. Like,
Because
we have
yes.
our own mind. Like, we have our own mind. That's crazy.
No,
Do you know when
I
you're a
guess
good
they
man-
didn't know people like that.
When you're a good man, is it hard or easy?
They didn't meet that kind of man yet, I guess.
But let me ask you.
But that's great. That's still fear. Like, you feel like, that's why they're scared of the white people. Black man fear white people, you know.
The fear of being
Yeah,
tricked
no,
again.
but before the fear wasn't
Being
there.
tricked again.
They fear being tricked again.
Remember, before they wasn't afraid, you know, that's why they welcome them in and, you know.
Yeah, you must, and of course, remember, Africa's used to
Yes,
seeing
yeah.
different people, Asians and South Americans and
Exactly.
everybody. By the time Neanderthal European comes onto the scene, it's an
You know,
international
just
world
welcome
already.
them. We have, man, you can come, you
Yes,
can
sir.
get food, it's have space. We have that.
Okay, so let me ask you,
Why take everything from us, you know.
Yes.
Everything.
Remember,
They
it
even
didn't
took our
have.
brothers, They took our brothers. They took our brothers. They took our sisters.
But the most important thing that they tried to sever is black man's connection to the ancestors. To make black man believe that he could only be with God if he embraced a religion of the West. And whether it was Islam or Christianity, this is the ultimate betrayal of Africa. To take away 80,000 years of culture and knowledge and replace it with 2,000 years of superstition.
Superstition. I like that word. Superstition.
The term Jesus came from Egypt 10,000 years ago, and the term Christ came from the Samaritans and the Therapeutans about 2,000 some years ago. There never was a Jesus Christ that walked the earth. And the whole fabrication is the indoctrination process of an empire. If I were to show you the list of the Christian saints, and then I show you the list of the gods in Africa and Middle East that we prayed to, you'll see it's the same names.
It's the same names. Let me say something.